It's Norman Bates' house. It was built on top of a Native American burial ground. It was a bordello.
Yeah.
It was the home of a serial killer. And now Nana is eating her pudding.
Hello, welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
And I'm her little brother, William.
And things are really heating up in the Northern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
It's officially summer now.
Yes.
Zoe asked me if it was summer like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, it is. And then I was like, oh, it's actually not summer. It just feels very much like it is.
And it's only gotten hotter. Mm-hmm. We had already been deciding to do like a summer-themed episode.
Yep.
And then we got hit with a heat wave in New Jersey, which was very unpleasant.
Yes, extremely.
I do not like the heat. I do not handle it well. And not only that, but I discovered that my house had been really, really hot. We don't have AC. It's a 100-something-year-old house. No AC.
Yeah.
But a bunch of like air conditioner units. You know, no central air, I mean.
Right.
And it was still hot. And I was like, why is this fan like blowing hot air in my face? And then I realized that we have like these floor units that have a tube that pumps the hot exhaust out a window.
Yeah.
And I had moved the unit and knocked the tube out. So the AC unit was blowing cold air and funneling hot ass air into the house simultaneously, and then blowing the hot air into my face. So that was a lesson learned. That was a rough day, I will tell you. But
one you won't soon forget.
Kristen, Ryan, and my mom were kindly enough to let us come over a couple of times in the last week to your house does have air.
Yes, anytime. Absolutely
Very jealous.
Anytime.
And a pool.
I know.
But it is summer, and so we're going to try to get summery. We've got a little West Coast, East Coast beef this
battle
episode.
Going.
I thought this was a fun idea.
Yeah.
You were like, well, we're going to do the summer thing, but let's look at like boardwalk stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got boardwalks in California, 2 in particular. And a fun mix of like a couple of substantial ghost stories and then a few surprises.
Oh, good.
And I'm very curious about the East Coast stuff because even this weekend I'm going down to like Asbury Park for a Twin Peaks concert and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And how about this? Can we start this way?
Yeah.
What's your history with boardwalks? Going to boardwalks?
History with boardwalks.
Well, really though.
Yeah. Well, I've been to the Jersey Shore boardwalk like 8,000 million times.
Really?
Yeah. And besides that, not a whole lot of history with boardwalks.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to the... I've definitely been to the boardwalk. Many times.
Yeah.
Not a ton of times that I'm super familiar with it. I never am able to keep up with the different beaches or the different beach town names.
Right. No.
I never know where I am.
When I was in high school, I had a friend who had a I guess they lived at the shore. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to the particular parts of the Jersey Shore a lot. We got like one of the earliest things that I remember, because it's not like our family would go down to the beach.
No.
That never happened. Even when we lived in New Jersey for like a decade before I even bothered to go there once.
Totally. And by the way, we went to the boardwalk, not the beach. Just walking around the boardwalk. Oh, I mean with my friends.
Yeah. I remember in high school, we got a prom house after prom, and that was in like beach town area. And not to botch the story, but it was like, it was discovered during that week that there had been so much debauchery from my class in particular, like kids getting arrested with drugs and blah, 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 that it became like a huge issue. And a bunch of kids were like threatened that you're not going to be allowed to graduate or walk at graduation because of your activities down at Seaside or whatever they call it. And that was not my experience.
Right.
We had gotten a beach house that was like the guest house behind someone's house. So we had like total coverage from roaming police officers. Not that we were up to much anyway. I remember bringing down a lot of frozen mozzarella sticks and a huge can of marinara sauce. And we all would just dip the mozzarella sticks in the giant can.
This sounds like a great after prom.
Yes, I brought down the DVD for The Life Aquatic. Watched it alone many nights.
How long were you there?
Oh, I went down every day and had to come back every morning because I had skipped so much school that I was at risk of not graduating if I missed any more class.
Oh my God.
So every morning I would have to wake up and speed up Route 18 to get to school in the morning and then just drive right down to the beach house at the end of the day.
Oh my God.
Yep. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
It was not my favorite week.
Sounds terrible.
I do not particularly like the beach. I do not like the heat.
No.
I also hadn't bothered thinking about it this way, but I think maybe because I don't have a lot of experience with going to the boardwalk, there's something about boardwalks in particular that make me a little uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It's a weird feeling. I don't know if you have this at all. Even when it's like, there are a lot of, like a pizza place on the boardwalk and you go in and it's like the doors are always open because you're at the beach. So it's like great climate.
It's open air.
It's open air pizza place. And there are like kids without a shirt on and like people dripping water and shit. And I'm just like, this is a mess.
It's debauched.
It's debauched. I don't feel very comfortable in this environment at all.
I have to say,
Allie is part of a big beach family. She loves the beach. They've been trying to indoctrinate Zoe into loving the beach, and it's working. And I'm going to live with it. And I don't want to say I never enjoy it, because of course I do. Mm-hmm. But there is a very distinct flavor of being by the ocean, of being on a boardwalk.
Yeah.
And I can't pretend that I'm the biggest fan in the world.
I think that it is not surprising that my experience going to the beach was limited anyway. Like my friends really like going, and I would be a real grump and say, no, I won't go. And then I went like a handful of times and I had a good time, enough of a good time. I think it is not surprising to me that I don't think I have gone to the beach nor boardwalk since I stopped drinking. I think they were very tied. There are a number of things that I would do that were made more palatable to me by the fact that I could drink while I was doing it.
Yes, to use the term, it took the edge off.
Yes.
Of having to be in the sun.
Yes. And now that I don't drink anymore, I'm not going to the goddamn beach. I'm not going to the I'm not going to the boardwalk.
Whoa. I support you in this. For two places, I'm very proud of your personal journey.
Thank you.
And I'm very proud that you just won't do the boardwalk anymore, because it's really, we've gone down to Atlantic City a couple of times for the NJ Horror Con.
Yeah.
And out the back of whatever.
I'm way more likely to walk on the boardwalk than the beach. That's more tolerable to me. I'll take a little walk.
Yeah, but there's something about, and this is so stupid, because I like this generally. I like, this is so stupid to say. I like the look of wood that's been exposed to water.
Yeah, it's a good look.
You know, that like rounded.
Yeah.
The boards are a little, not waterlogged, they're not soggy boards.
Right.
But like, I like that like beach cabin.
They're worn.
The worn look, yes. But something about the boardwalk itself, it feels very otherworldly to me.
No,
because there's just nothing. There's just nothing out there.
It is weird that people are walking around without their shirts on. Everybody's wet.
I hate that shit.
You have to stand in line for that bathroom that has sand all over the floor.
Yeah, there's sand all over everything, which makes perfect sense.
Of course it does, but it's not pleasant.
It's not pleasant.
I want to be in the air conditioning.
And I have to say, and this is not nice, some of the folks who are always down there are very concerning to me, and I don't feel safe at the boardwalk.
No.
I'm like constantly like, my head's like on a swivel.
You have to keep your wits about you at the boardwalk and the shore.
Constant vigilance at the boardwalk.
Yes.
And that's to say nothing of the potential for ghosts, which is what we're really here to discuss.
Well, by the way, I actually don't have boardwalk stuff. I have beach.
Okay, well, that's fine. Boardwalk and beach to me is...
The boardwalk stuff I found... I think we've covered before. Lots of good Asbury stuff.
Yes. We've done Asbury ghost stuff, Asbury, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I also didn't cover, like, there are a couple of things on the West Coast that I know are kind of big. Like, the one that comes to mind anyway is the Queen Mary, which we've talked about before. So I stayed away from that kind of stuff. But yeah, beach ghosts. And I think it's time to get into it, everybody.
Yeah.
But before we're able to get into it, how about this? Let's all enjoy something together.
Let's dive in.
Oh, Chrissy.
to a quick commercial break.
And we're back.
Ooh,
towel yourself off or don't.
Yeah.
And then just go into a restaurant like that.
Yeah. Yeah, just sit down, plop.
Plop in your wet pants. Okay.
The whole thing is very undignified.
It's a strange environment. All right.
You got to do what you got to do. But okay, anyway.
Anyway, do you want to start with West Coast or East Coast? I want to hear you, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to say, I just realized I do have a very short Boardwalk thing.
Oh, okay.
Which is that I found out that there's a book that some of our young listeners, our youngest ever listeners, might be interested in. This is the Barbie Sisters Mystery Club.
Oh.
Book 2, The Haunted Boardwalk.
Awesome.
This is for children ages 6 to 9. So parents, maybe pick this up for the kids. They will love reading about Barbie and her sisters as they solve mysteries in an all-new Barbie Sisters Mystery Club chapter book, featuring a sparkly glitter cover, full-color illustrations, and a collectible bookmark. This is not an ad.
And it has nothing to do with like story.
Well, I'm going to tell you the story.
Okay.
I mean, barely.
The sales pitch is that it has stickers. Like, I can't wait for us to read the chapter book.
I kept Googling haunted boardwalk, and this kept coming up, and I was like, maybe it'll be fun.
I will say this was slightly trickier to research than typical.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Here's what it is. It's 3 sentences. Strange things are happening at the Malibu mini golf park. Creaks and howls and bumps can be heard all through the night. Will Barbie and her sister solve the mystery of the haunted boardwalk?
No.
I bet they will.
I think it ends with them going, I still don't know.
We don't know.
Let's go
also,
home.
do her sisters not have names? They're not deserving of being highlighted here by name?
Not at all.
No. Oh,
well, according to the Barbie movie, they're all named Barbie, right?
Oh, that's true.
Hey, Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, anyway, I just thought that was kind of fun.
Sure.
So, here is the story of Higby Beach in Cape May.
Higby Beach.
Higby Beach. So, like a million good ghost stories, depending on who is telling the story, this beach is either haunted by Joseph Higby, Thomas Higby, or one of the slaves they owned.
All right.
And there's not really, I didn't find a lot of elaboration about why it would be one of their slaves. I just saw people saying that it'd be that the slave is keeping vigil over one of their graves.
Okay. Just people who were alive there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So this part of it is confirmed that beach is named after Joseph Higby, who built a hotel in that area in 1870. That much we know. So he died not long after he built that hotel in 1872.
Whoa.
Then his brother Thomas died a few years later in 1879, and he left his entire estate to, and again, this whole story is weird. It's, it's fun hearing about people looking for these graves and encountering them, but like what happened, I couldn't really grasp onto what the deal is,
Sure.
but I can infer. I kept finding things about how Thomas left the entire estate to vague things like an 18-year-old or blah, blah, blah. One source said he left it to their niece, quote unquote.
What? What does that mean?
What the hell does that mean?
That doesn't sound good to me.
Whatever it is, it sounds not good.
The identity of your quote unquote niece might only be that she's 18.
Right.
I don't like that.
Nuh-uh.
No.
Etta Gregory.
That's a Higby no-no.
It's absolutely a Higby no-no.
An icky Higby.
An Higby icky.
Yeah.
In his will, he asked that he be buried near the hotel, and he wanted his grave to be lined with brick and flagstone, and then he wanted the grave to be sealed shut with a large marble slab. So he just had like explicit instructions for what he wanted it to be what he wanted it to look like and stuff.
Huh. That's weird, right? To have your grave lined with stones?
Yeah, but I guess I thought it was just like 1800s nonsense.
Yeah, I guess so. Is that like to prevent grave robbings or something? Like, or is it just the ornate fanciness?
I don't know. It sounds like rich people shit to me or something, maybe, of the late 1800s. Definitely having it covered with a marble slab. To me, it made me think either like, grave robbing, or is there unspoken in here stuff about like, I don't know, the spirit leaving, like weirdness that's like keeping the body in, the soul in. This is me completely speculating. I have
that's
no
fun.
idea.
That's fun. Although it is weird to be like, I want my coffin to be ghost proof.
Yeah.
So that my spirit is trapped in this box
Forever.
for all eternity.
Maybe it's so like the Grim Reaper can't get to you. And
He didn't
wait, no.
already?
Yeah, wait
a
no.
minute.
What am I trying to say?
Bury me alive.
Maybe the devil can't steal his soul then.
Yeah, maybe. Yes.
All of these are true.
All simultaneously.
Yeah. So then years later, when Etta Gregory died, in her will, she instructed that her, again, Uncle Tom, as she supposedly called Higby, she wanted him to be dug up and then be buried alongside her in the Gregory family plot in a different cemetery. So they did that, apparently, and then depending on the account, the grave that they dug up the Higby from was filled with either sand taken from Higby Beach or cement.
What?
Not sure which.
These people were freaks.
They were that's what I'm saying. These people were absolute freaks. I don't know what the hell was going on.
Why does her will override his will?
I don't know, just because it was later?
The latest to die gets to decide what happens to everyone?
I guess.
In my will, I want to be buried in this with a marble slab. Well, in my will, I'm going to have an Uno reverse card so that you're dug up and moved.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
That's very strange.
It's so weird. But apparently there is, or was, as of like 40 years ago or so, there was a grave at Higby Beach because somebody wrote into Weird New Jersey and talked about finding one. So is it Thomas Higby's sand or cement-filled grave? We don't know. Does he perhaps consider that his true resting place, and that's why this place is supposedly haunted? Who the hell has an idea? But somebody wrote this account into Weird New Jersey. And there's a little bit before this quote that I'll read to you about going off the beaten path. They're going this way, they're going that way, but they eventually make their way along to here. There it was, just like a prop in an old black and white B horror movie. It was more like a tomb, an above-ground grave made of stone and mortar. There was even an old, rusty, beaten-up, fancy old iron fence surrounding it. The grave...
Can you read the description of the fence again?
I said, you know what? I said old twice by accident.
Damn it. All right. I loved it. An old,
No, it was
beaten up,
me.
old, rusty, old, bitchin' ass,
Old shitty.
ass shit fence.
Yeah, no, that was me. I just
All right.
realized. They said there was even an old, rusty, beaten up, fancy iron fence surrounding it.
That still is a lot of adjectives.
It is. Right. The grave was overgrown with vines and ivy, and believe it or not, there were even a couple of snakes crawling around the site. Yes, the legend of Higby's grave was a true story, and although I'm not exactly sure who's buried there, someone is. And remember, I haven't been there in 40 years or so I don't know what the area looks like nowadays.
Okay.
And this was from, I think, 2016. So, who knows what's going on now? This thing could be overrun with snakes.
Believe it or not, there were snakes. Really? In like untamed wilderness? Whoa.
Yeah, they were like really
I don't
going
believe
off
you.
the beach. Yeah.
I do not believe it.
I'm not believing it. However, someone is not at rest at Higby Beach. They might have found this grave, but something is stirred up in that sand. Maybe Thomas Higby never wanted to leave that old property. They dug him up, but maybe he was like, no, I'm coming back here.
I'm staying.
This is my place. And even removing his body didn't stop him from roaming those shores. So a lot of people have reported seeing a man in a long coat just walking up and down the beach, sometimes accompanied by a big black dog.
Okay.
Classic stuff. And then the man seems to just disappear as soon as somebody kind of like approaches him. And he's usually seen near dusk, just like walking up and down the sands.
Classic.
Weird New Jersey also had an excerpt from a book called Cape May Ghost Stories that had this tale. The book's authors from Cape May Ghost Stories interviewed a woman who had an odd experience early one morning when she decided to go for a walk at Higby Beach, which had become a wildlife management area. She'd walked halfway to where the dunes crested when she heard a scratching noise ahead that scared her enough to make her stop and hide in the underbrush for a moment. That must have been some scratching noise. If I'm taking a walk
Yeah.
and I hear a scratch, I'm not running to the nearest bush.
Yeah, that's a good point. Diving into the underbrush.
Yeah. You're going to get full of bristles and Brussels.
Brush.
Yeah. When she looked up at the dunes, she saw an old-looking man. Though claiming not to have paranormal leanings to the authors, she said she knew right away that the man was not to be feared and was, in fact, a ghost. She said he looked... Yeah, I know. Those don't seem, like, mutually exclusive.
Why is everyone so weird?
I don't know.
Everyone on the planet is so
I knew that
strange.
he is a ghost, so I knew he wasn't to be feared.
Like, that's
Scary. Ghosts are, like traditionally one of the scariest things.
traditionally what's to be feared.
Right. I don't know. This lady, had nerve of steel. She said he looked right through her, right toward her, but more so through her, as if unaware of her presence. As the sun rose, she could see that his color was odd. I have to assume she was there for a very early morning walk, and it wasn't there that she was just there all night. She could see that his color was odd, quote, a pale gray, almost glowing. She moved closer and noticed the details of his dress. Pants that were too short, almost tattered at the cuffs, a sash instead of a belt, and a very dirty and tattered t-shirt.
I think this is a pirate.
T-shirt?
Yeah, an Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Yeah, I didn't think about this when I was writing this down, but... A t-shirt.
I'm pretty
did they
sure.
Have like an undershirt back in the day?
I think so. Yeah,
I guess so.
I think
it was probably considered like the height of like rudeness and
Right.
like you're an absolute hedonist if you're not wearing like an undershirt under your collared shirt.
yeah,
or
you had
whatever.
to have like 18 layers
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
So there was some sort of undergarment. I'm sure it wasn't an Eric Cartman shirt, from like the 90s.
Probably wasn't an eat me shirt.
Yeah.
The woman heard a whispering or giggling sound come from the same area in which the man was standing, which she thought the man heard too, because he turned and started to, as she put it, coast or glide up over the hill.
Oh.
Okay, so you're hiding in the underbrush.
Yeah.
You turn and you see a man who's wearing like culottes, which are short pants, tied with a sash and a t-shirt. You look at him, he's looking right through you. Then you hear a giggling, and he, unmoving, glides toward the giggling sound. What a morning.
What?
And you were just
just
taking a walk in the wildlife management area.
Yeah. The gliding is so unnerving.
Yeah.
I guess I don't see a lot of modern what?
You don't see a lot of gliding.
You don't see a lot of gliding.
I remember one time my friend Rosie and I went to Target when we were in high school, and she had like giant pants, like Jenkos, and she tried on some, I think, rollerblades at Target, and it looked like she was just gliding because you couldn't see them under her pants.
Just hovering.
It was awesome.
I guess I don't see a lot of like modern ghost movies or anything, but I feel like I haven't seen the depiction of ghosts where they are just hovering in a direction in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I haven't either.
Yeah, maybe the most recent I can think of is The Haunting of Hill House with the tall man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
It's a shame. So now the beach is very popular with birders, but it was a nude beach, interestingly, until there was a state ordinance placed against them, being nudie at that location in 1999.
Even the birds?
Yeah, they have to wear little pants.
You gotta put pants on these birds.
I mention that only because I wanted to tell you the final line that Weird New Jersey has. They cheekily say,
Oh, God.
so now the only glowing body you might see on the Higby Beach is that of Higby himself.
Wow. Wait a minute. Would
They
you
were
describe a
saying that-
nude person as a glowing body?
They would.
That's very strange.
I know.
They tried for something. That's
Yeah,
fine.
they were doing a little something.
Do you think a hat qualifies to not be nude
No.
anymore? It's got to be around
No way.
around the under
Waist and down.
the undercarriage, as Austin Powers would say.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough.
So I went on hauntedplaces.org to see what they had to say about it. It had an 89% haunted rating.
Holy shit!
Pretty good.
Oh my god.
It's pretty high. And Zoe had something to say
Zoe?
about it. She did.
My daughter time traveling in the future?
Yes, she had a comment that she made on December 14th, 2022.
Whoa.
There are two toilet-based encounters that have happened here.
Dynamite.
I'll have you know.
Yes.
So Zoe said, July 2018, I decided to go at night to sit and talk to a friend. It was downpouring. They had to go to the bathroom, and I pointed by the opening. There was a porta potty, but he decides to go pee at another location by a trail. He ran in my car and told me to go.
Why? There's a toilet, sir. You're going to go piss on the trail?
If I was a guy...
Now people will step in it.
If I was a guy, I could see not wanting to encase myself in a disgusting porta potty if I could just pee real quick.
Yes. Speaking as a guy who also does not like porta potties,
Yeah.
I still would brave the porta potty rather than forego a civilized toilet to pee on a walking trail.
I don't know.
All right.
It's downpouring. Like, you're not going to run into anybody. I think I'd take a quick piss on the trail. So that happened, and then he ran into her car and told her to go. She said, I felt a weird cold spot, better than a warm spot. And my hair's raised. I just couldn't take off because it was all muddy, and I didn't want to get stuck. As we take off, he tells me that he heard loud footsteps. I told him it could have been a tree or maybe something pounding from the wind. He's somebody that used to laugh at me when I mentioned ghosts at Higby's. He told me that the footsteps felt like it wasn't anything normal. It was coming near him, but he didn't bother to look. I question it. A few years prior to that, Higby is my runaway spot. I go there to get away from all the stress. Again, it was raining. It was summer. I was walking on the beach. There used to be a spot by the dunes. I could climb up, and there's a huge flat area, a tree. Photography. This is written weirdly.
Yeah.
I was looking for that spot. A quarter walk in, away from the entrance, I saw 2 metal trash cans. As I'm walking, I see 2 older couples holding each other looking at the ocean. I thought it was romantic. The view of them was a little fuzzy since it was raining, and my eyes were a little soaked. I continued to walk closer and closer. I was about 100 feet away from the trash cans. The couple had disappeared. I definitely thought my mind was playing tricks. The rain by then had continued to get worse. I decided to turn back. I'm not walking the length of where I first spotted the couple. Maybe now, walking the length. I turned around and they were back in the same spot. I've always said if I see a ghost, I'll probably have a heart attack. But I felt the vibe of the situation to be a sweet romantic thing, and maybe I should let them be. To be fair, this is their land. I've not witnessed much since I don't really have the time to visit the area like I had when I was younger. I still fish there a lot because I feel like Higby's is where my heart belongs. Then Lindsay Long replies back to this. I was there many years ago and had the same experience. I heard a banging and looked in time to see there was a porta potty that was on its side with the door hinge side at the ground. I saw the door falling back to the ground. Someone had to physically pick the door up to slam it, but no one was there. I took off running through the trail and it felt like someone was chasing me all the way to the parking lot. The parking lot.
All the way to the parking lot.
I can't talk today.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Wow.
Higby PP. What's going on there?
2 syllables.
Huh.
2 syllables apiece. Whoa.
Huh.
Really
makes you think.
It makes me do the opposite of think, whatever that might be. So maybe that man who pee-peed on the trail had the right idea to avoid the porta potty, because perhaps the porta potty is haunted.
Maybe, because it was just like flapping open and shut. So maybe if he had gone in there, it'd be doing that with him in it.
Or get knocked over.
Yeah.
And then he got like a Steve-O,
Britney Spears thing.
Bungee porta potty situation going on.
Remember Britney Spears did that with him for like a shtick for the Jimmy Kimmel show or something?
What?
I don't remember all the details, but like, yeah, she did a stunt with him. It was porta potty based.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Steve-O loves a porta potty.
Of course.
Interesting. But then there were just nice old people ghosts watching the water?
Yeah, inexplicable.
It's a complicated place.
It is.
It sounds like more than one ghost if there's a couple of old people, obviously.
Definitely. Yeah, that didn't seem like a Higby sighting.
And everybody's...
Like Thomas Higby. Maybe it was somebody who was at the hotel.
And no further mention...
For a little porking.
No, in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And no mention of the Higby hound again. The hounds of Higby.
No.
Maybe it was the hound that knocked over the porta potty.
Maybe.
Because I'm trying to figure out if the ghosts there seem to give everybody a relatively comforting feeling. Mm-hmm. Right? Like the person who hid in the underbrush was like, it was a ghost, so I knew not to be afraid.
I don't know what the hell's going on at this place, to tell you the truth.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the knocking over of the porta potty in particular is very odd because that's just like a gnarly prank.
It's a terrible prank. It's just mischief.
Would suck.
Yeah.
At least they didn't knock it like fully door side down where like you can't get out. Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
I would just die.
Yeah. I'd just be like, can you bury the porta potty?
Yeah, just end it for me.
With me in it?
Or I would just stick my head in the porta potty to drown myself.
Oh my God.
Just end it.
I don't often get grossed out.
I know, that was a gross one.
That was gross.
Yeah.
Stick my head in the porta potty to drown. No, I did not like that.
I know, it was gross.
I didn't like that one bit. All right, well that's the East Coast.
Yep.
That's what Chrissy brought to the table, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
In a second, I'm going to tell you about some West Coast hauntings, and mine. I really tried to get that boardwalky vibe, but you tell me how well or how poorly I did.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Yeah, we'll see.
Why would it be poor?
I don't know. I struggled. I think I found good stuff.
I have to tell you.
I know this turned out to be trickier than you would have anticipated because you really think like there's a high density of people at the coasts.
Right.
But I also don't know if you came up against what I kept coming up against where it's like haunted walking tours or just like it was hard to Google this.
Yes.
Because it would be like, well, sign up for this business or come to this.
It was a lot of haunted walking tours, and then it ended up being like a town that has a boardwalk, but the stories that were with it weren't like boardwalk centric at all. Or
it was like 3 miles in from the beach,
yeah.
but we tried to stay beachy.
Right.
I definitely have beachy stuff.
Great.
So we're going to get to that in just a minute. But first, we want to tell you about patreon.com/GTTUpod, which helps keep the lights on and is so much fun, all the stuff that we post over there.
Yeah, it's awesome. We have a whole second podcast, a whole second secret podcast called the Netherworld Dispatch that comes out every Monday that you get access to through Patreon.
It's so secret. No one knows about this. We've never told anyone about this, especially not every week.
No, definitely not.
But you can sign up on patreon.com/GTTUpod for free for starters to see what we're doing over there.
Yeah.
You can then, for $1, you get access to our Discord. For $4, you get an episode of the Netherworld Dispatch every month. On the next tier up, our $8 tier is the Banshee tier. You get 2 Netherworld Dispatches every month. And then at our $13 Demon tier, you get an episode every single Monday, like clockwork.
Yeah, it's fully boss. We also have movie commentaries for all of the Scream movies, the Blair Witch movies 1 and 2. What else we have? All the Twilight movies.
All the Twilight movies, yes.
You get access to our Discord. It's really, really awesome.
And an ad-free version of this very show.
Yes.
Where on the Patreon version of this show, you literally don't hear me saying everything I'm saying to you right now.
Right.
Yeah. So go check it out. Highly recommend. The most recent episode of the Netherworld Dispatch was episode 167. Smile, Longlegs.
Okay, this was very cool.
I have been...
This created a mania in me that I did not expect.
Really? You've been feeling it too?
Yes, I completely eat my words. In this episode at the beginning, we're talking about the movie Longlegs that's coming out. And I said like, oh, everybody's like freaking out about it. I'm sure it's good, but I feel this contrariness in me that I'm like, I'm sure it's good, but I'm not freaking out.
How's it going to be as good as everyone's saying?
Guys, I watched the trailer. I've since watched it a bunch of times. It looks so friggin' good. And they have this just kind of like, it's just really for fun, just sort of this stuff that you can solve online. So Will and I really dug into that, and it's just cool.
It is so interesting. I also at the top of the episode was like, I'm kind of sick of viral marketing, ARG type stuff. And Longlegs in particular, we also looked at Smile 2, who did something, and it was fine.
It's fine.
But Longlegs in particular, I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to really be bought into this. Kristen, I've been thinking about it daily. I've assembled a very long document of my solving process.
I'm looking forward to this.
Still more to come. And that I'm talking about episode 167 of the Netherworld Dispatch, where we talked about Longlegs. We're going to be talking about Longlegs again on Monday's episode of the Netherworld Dispatch because I've got some stuff to catch you up on.
Yep.
Some theories from online folks and some stuff that's still yet to be cracked.
I bet I will have seen some of this, because seriously, I've been looking around.
Longlegs is going to turn into something of like a mini series segment on the Netherworld Dispatch, I feel.
If you don't know what that is, Longlegs is this movie that's going to be coming out on July 12th. It's directed by Osgood Perkins and starring Nicolas Cage and Micah Monroe. And it's this like freaky deaky serial killer movie where Nicolas Cage is wearing these freaky deaky prosthetics that make him look like handsome Squidward. He's so unnerving.
No one reacted to it at all when I posted my handsome Squidward comparison, but it's so accurate.
It really is. I feel like people love handsome Squidward.
My social media is just bad. People don't follow me on social media that much.
It's fine.
But we're hooked on Longlegs, and the wonderful news is that it's almost out.
Yeah, totally.
So we're not.
And that past episode 167 that we're talking about, that one is available for Ghosts and Up.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
that's
so the
correct.
$4 tier and up.
$4 tier and up. So yeah, more to say about Longlegs for sure. But we watched the trailer, which is so intense. Literally the sounds of the trailer have been stuck in my head.
Yeah.
All week.
Yeah.
So go check that out right now. All of that, patreon.com/GTTUpod, and obviously so much more. And we'll move into, I've got a nice review.
Great.
For us, Chrissy, that came from Rachel, who said, awesome podcast. I have been a big fan for a long time. I love how much fun these two have while delivering such an entertaining and very binge-worthy podcast. You won't regret giving this podcast a listen. I look forward to new episodes all week, and it makes Friday even better. Thank you. 5 stars.
That is so nice. Thank you. Love to hear that it makes Friday better. You rule. Thank you so much to everybody who leaves us reviews. Thank you, Rachel. You're all great.
You are all really great. I get like a buzz doing this show. When you were talking about all that stuff, I was like, this is awesome.
I know.
We do this every goddamn week.
We get to do this all the time.
Thank you all so much for your support. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing, I know you've been waiting for it. It's finally here.
Ooh, you're rubbing your paws
I'll talk about the West Coast after one more commercial break. Ooh, that was nice.
Yeah, tasty.
Went down smooth. What products or services?
God.
Okay, it's time.
Those were some of my favorites.
I love them. All right, it's time to talk about the West Coast, Chrissy. So I split this into a couple of different boardwalks. I wanted to get, because California is enormous.
Yes.
Let alone the West Coast. This is all California oriented. I think about that as being like boardwalk stuff, California. So I've got Santa Monica's boardwalk and Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Where would you like to visit first?
Santa Cruz, please.
Santa Cruz, you got it. I believe Santa Cruz is higher north?
I also believe that.
I've not.
It's a belief of mine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's true or not.
No,
that's what I believe.
It's how you feel inside that counts about where Santa Cruz is on the map.
Yeah.
So Santa Cruz, I will admit, maybe this is a great place to start because some of my info is a little bit lighter on the ghosty stuff. There's plenty of Santa Cruz ghost stories, but again, I was trying to really keep it localized to the beach area.
Yeah.
Which definitely limited things a bit. But I knew Santa Cruz is like a historic place, a storied location. So here's some interesting stuff. First of all, there's a ton of Alfred Hitchcock history in Santa Cruz. I guess he had lived out there or owned some place, whatever. But it was like, it seems like a place of great inspiration for Hitchcock. Let's start with the McCrae Mansion, which today is known as Sunshine Villa. So, there was a day in Santa Cruz early in the morning when all of a sudden the residents of Santa Cruz found themselves being bombarded by flocks of birds.
Oh my God.
Flying in off the ocean and slamming into buildings one after another, after another, after another. It was said, this was like almost like a historic incident. It was said that the morning had been so foggy, the birds had no idea where they were.
Oh God.
Couldn't see in front of their beaks. And so, yeah, they flew in like...
That's terrible.
Little feathery,
like for the birds.
Little feathery missiles.
Oh, God.
And pelted Santa Cruz, which obviously gave Alfred Hitchcock the inspiration for his hit movie Birdemic. Not to mention Birdemic 3, Sea Eagle.
Yes. Obviously.
You covered the birds in a previous episode, if anyone's interested in hearing about the birds as a movie itself. No, you hated it.
Yeah.
I still want to watch it because you hated it. We'll see. But that's just one thing. That's like more Santa Cruz-y. The McCrae Mansion thing is that McCrae Mansion is supposedly the inspiration for the design of Norman Bates's house.
Oh, cool.
The awesome Bates Mansion looming behind the Bates Motel up on that hill was supposedly because Alfred Hitchcock saw this McCrae Mansion, and it's like tall, like Gothic architecture, and was like, that would look good in a scary movie. And so he did it. Now, I have some information from goodtimes.sc about the McCrae Mansion itself. Aside from just being an inspiration for Alfred Hitchcock, quote, it was discovered in 1908 that the hotel was built on Native American burial grounds.
Of course.
Like a ghosty, weird mainstay thing.
And also, was it?
I know.
Yeah.
So supposedly in 1908, this dark history of the land under the McCrae Mansion was discovered when a plumber struck the skeletal remains of a skull with his pick.
What was he doing?
What is a plumber?
Look, I know nothing about plumbing. That could be like another day at the office, but I'm just surprised to hear it.
Got to use my plumber's pick.
Yeah.
And then you find a skull. Now listen, I have to say, it's pretty freaky deaky to be like out on a job. You're like, I gotta let my ass hang out while I fix these pipes, honey. I'll be home later. And then you're just working, and then you uncover a skull.
Yeah.
By smacking it with a hammer.
Weird.
Ooh. Rough day at the office.
Yeah.
This violation of sacred soil is what many believe to be the plumber's sacred soil.
I don't know. This violation of sacred soil.
Well, you know how it is. I
sure do.
I was going to bring it up when you were talking about Higby's tomb.
Yeah.
When it was like unearthed by his niece or whatever.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. It's funny that people are like, Native American curse, right? If you disturb the burial ground.
Right.
And then it's like Higby's quote unquote niece is like, in my will, dig him up.
Yeah.
But that is not seen as some major desecration.
Right.
Right? I mean, obviously it turned into a ghost story, but that's like an after the fact thing. People were fine with like, okay, yeah, I'll get the backhoe.
They're not concerned about that, but like the mystical Native Americans are going to do something.
We'll dig up old Higby's bones.
Yeah.
Why not?
So weird.
I see no issue with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this violation of sacred soil is what many believe to be the cause of all sorts of inexplicable supernatural activity over the course of the hotel's history. Now, I don't have much over, like, I assume the rest of that is just like, I heard a footstep.
Yeah.
I don't. But later, the McCrae Mansion would become a bordello, and then a rooming house, and then home to notorious serial killer Herbert William Mullen.
Oh.
Who killed 13 people during a murderous rampage in the early 70s.
My God.
That's a lot of history.
Yeah, it's a real storied place.
Today, the structure has been beautifully remodeled into an assisted living facility for the elderly known as Sunshine Villa.
These poor people, are they okay?
I know. Doesn't this sound like a hell of a place to live? It's Norman Bates's house. It was built on top of a Native American burial ground. It was a bordello.
Yeah.
It was the home of a serial killer. And now Nana is eating her pudding. What is going on in the McCrae Mansion? I don't know.
Or maybe some like real badass Nana's gums and wrinkles are there.
My gum lives.
Yeah.
Do you know where my gum lives?
Yeah.
Where
the old McCrae Mansion.
Mr. Mullen did his dark deed.
Yeah, maybe they're like excited about it.
I bet you're right about that, actually. All right, let's move from the McCrae Mansion to Adolph's restaurant.
Okay.
Which today is known as the Fuji restaurant.
Can't imagine why.
Adolph.
Yeah.
Hit the road.
Uh-huh.
Now, I have almost zero information about this, and that's what's so appealing about it. All right? It was on hauntedplaces.org, and they only say this. The former Adolph's restaurant, now Fuji's restaurant, is said to be haunted. Workers have seen several apparitions, and some historians have supposed they may stem from a murder that happened here around 1900.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything more about that. But there is one comment on hauntedplaces.org that seemed of note and therefore needed to be reported on Guide to the Unknown.
Excellent.
This comment, posted by Babushka Papanek, says...
They're so lucky.
Babushka Papanek says, quote, someone was breathing in the next bathroom stall, but no one was there.
5 stars.
It raises a lot of questions to me about what Babushka Papanek was doing in the bathroom.
And expects of a bathroom.
Yeah. Someone was breathing, but there was no... So what's the order of events?
Yeah.
You go in and you're Babushka Papanek. You're sitting on the john.
Right.
And then you hear someone breathing, which is normal.
Yeah.
And you go... Who's over there?
Who goes there?
And then you start peeking under the stall or something. Like, how do you get to the point where you're like, there's no one there? How do you confirm that? Why do you bother?
You're peeking under the stall because you heard breathing.
Every time you hear someone breathing, you do a little investigation to see who's doing it, who's behind the breathing.
Babushka Papanek needs to take it down a notch, I think.
Babushka Papanek could chill. Could afford to chill. Just relax. We're at Fuji's restaurant.
Yeah.
Okay? Have a good time.
This is a place to be with friends.
Yes. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about some pop culture at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, because a couple of famous horror films are shot on the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, specifically the Boardwalk too.
Oh, cool.
Like these other places, the McRae Mansion, that is admittedly like a block in from the beach. But that's the arena. And then Fuji's restaurant, same.
Yeah.
But now we're literally walking the boards of the boardwalk where people are playing games and stuff, and you can go stand under the jetty.
Yeah.
Right? And perhaps along the boardwalk, you might see a buff, shirtless man with a ponytail play the saxophone.
Oh.
Because this is where they filmed the beginning of The Lost Boys.
Oh, okay.
Which is Jake Jarmel's movie of vampires. What's his name?
Kiefer Sutherland?
Yes, but who directed it? He also directed Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Oh, Joel Schumacher.
Jake Jarmel. Well,
Seinfeld.
This is from Seinfeld. Yeah. He also played the saxophone, didn't he?
No. Oh, Jake Jarmel's the author.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, breaks up the link because she stops for jujubes.
You stopped for jujubes when you found out I was in the hospital?
And then gets those glasses.
Yeah, that's right. So, yes, it is true. The Lost Boys was filmed there by Jake Jarmel.
Oh my God.
But more notably, and I watched this because I think, Us. Jordan Peele's Us.
Yes.
The entire opening and a lot of the action of Us, the horror, the like inciting incident of Us, is centered around the Santa Cruz Boardwalk. And so I'm going to walk you through the events without spoiling the movie. No spoilers for Us. Young Addie, she's a kid. She looks like she's maybe like 6 years old. Little kid. She's walking with her parents along the Santa Cruz Boardwalk, and it's her birthday. And her parents are constantly sort of like bickering with each other. Her dad is, drinking one too many beers and way more interested in playing the boardwalk games than focusing on Addie's needs. And her mom says, I've got to go to the bathroom. Are you okay to watch her? To the husband who's like, huh? Yeah, of course. And he's playing whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Addie's mom even says, by the way, she's like, maybe we could walk down the boardwalk. They're filming some movie down there. And she's talking about the filming of The Lost Boys, which is like a fun.
Fun.
Yeah. So she's left alone with her dad, who's fully distracted playing whack-a-mole, and she ends up looking off toward the water. Now it's dark. It's nighttime. She's looking out at the ocean and a storm that's coming in off the water, lightning striking far off in the distance.
Yeah.
And she goes down the steps of the boardwalk onto the sand. And then she turns when she sees an attraction, because a lot of boardwalks have like rides and stuff, and the lights for Shaman's Vision Quest bloom, and the little tagline, discover yourself. And so young Addie is sort of curious.
Yeah.
And even though it's pitch black and no one's around, she goes walking into the Shaman's Quest, where it's like a classic dark ride situation. It's like a walking dark ride. And everything is lit by blacklight inside. So everything is like, anything that's white is blooming with that neon blue look.
Yeah.
She gets jump scared by a plastic owl. And then she's decides that she wants to get the hell out of here. It's a freaky deaky environment. She's by herself and there are no people.
Yeah.
There's not somebody there to like take tickets or anything. It's almost like this ride has been forgotten, accidentally left on this late at night. And so she starts trying to head for the exit she can see, only to realize she's seeing a reflection of the exit because she's in a hall of mirrors now. She can't find her way out, and seemingly to comfort herself, young Addie starts whistling the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And then she hears someone whistle along with her, but it's a little more tuneless and rough, like they don't really know how to whistle. And that's when young Addie comes face to face with something.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it from there. But that's like a Boardwalk horror thing. And again, this is not about us, so I don't want to spoil us, but like the vibe of being at the beach, which again is like, I already said that I don't particularly like the beach. There's something about it that feels a little exposed. And watching a 6-year-old kid off on her own, it heightens that the Boardwalk to me does feel like a weird place where it's like, you don't know who's there. And it's like, you're out in the middle of nowhere, really.
Yeah. I guess just because there's so many people there?
I guess.
That part of the thing?
Maybe. Something about it, because I don't feel that way at like the mall.
I was just thinking the mall.
But the Boardwalk is often like an outdoor mall. Yeah, it does feel lawless.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Something just feels exposed to me. And the beginning of Us.
You're literally exposed.
Yeah, you're literally exposed. Allie and I went to the outlets last week in Jersey. I don't remember what outlet it is. I don't know enough. But the outlets are like, it's like a mall with no roof.
Yeah.
And we walked into it and I was like, oh, put a roof on this thing. What are you doing?
I know. I want to go to the outlet though, because at the Gap outlet, they sell the old 90s Gap perfumes and they only sell them at the Gap outlet.
Really?
I want to get Dream.
It is such a strange place. You know what else it is? It's like 90% of the rest of the country doesn't have climate where it's like, just don't have a roof on this mall. It's like, well, dude, if it like rains, you're going to get rained on walking around the outlets and like, it's weird. And the floor is all like weather worn and stuff. It's a strange environment.
What you like in boards at the Boardwalk, you do not like in floors at the outlet.
Exactly right. Something's incorrect about this. It's like they designed half a building.
Yeah.
And I know what they missed.
Yeah.
It's very strange to me.
You have to be wearing your pool hat when you're walking around at the outlets.
Yeah, and I'm not in a pool.
No.
But I do have to have my pool hat.
That's right.
Not right. I think what it amounts to is that it does just feel like an unusual kind of place that you don't encounter all the time.
Yeah.
And it's particularly alien to me because our childhood was not in places like this. So now as a grown man, I'm like, what's this doing here? It's like, this is not correct. So to conclude Santa Cruz, at least, I did look up a couple of attractions, like the Shaman's Quest that young Addie walked into.
Yeah.
The Santa Cruz Boardwalk has a couple of horror-themed attractions that you can go to, including the Haunted Castle Dark Ride. I watched a whole ride-along of this from Attractions 360.
Oh, cool. I love
YouTube.
Attractions 360.
I know. They film all the fun stuff so you don't have to go have the fun yourself.
Yeah.
And so there is like, it's like, a black light, dark ride thing, which I love. It's like the Haunted Mansion, but itsy bitsy and on the boardwalk. And it was largely not terribly notable what happens in this dark ride, except for one thing, really. It's just like ambiguous, spooky music and spooky attraction stuff, like some guy holding his own skeleton head and going like, ha, 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 which is wonderful. I would love to see that.
Totally.
But then you sort of glide past this graveyard and there are a bunch of skeletons with shovels, seeming like they're burying
Digging,
someone. But the person they're burying pops up and goes, hey, back off. And he's wearing a Santa Cruz Boardwalk shirt. So I guess it's supposed to be like a tourist who's been yanked and getting buried by the... Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
And then the ride ends with a guillotine that drops above your car before the doors open back out onto sunny Santa Cruz. Very, very fun.
Yeah.
They also have Ghost Blasters. Ooh. This is a dark ride where you sit in a little buggy and they give you a laser tag.
What's going on at the Santa Cruz Boardwalk that they have all this stuff? Super
cool, super fun. I would actually like to do Ghost Blasters. So you get this laser tag gun, and as you're driving around, you can take aim at different things. So they'll have like a portrait of people, but if you shoot the portrait, it'll flash, and there'll be like a ghostly image on it.
Oh, cool.
For a second. So you're trying to blast all the different kinds of ghosts.
Yeah.
And your buggy keeps your score of how well you've done. And there is a, I was pretty sure that I heard, and this was posted by Coaster Views on YouTube. All links, by the way, are going to be in our show notes, scaryfun.fun. But I'm pretty sure that Ghost Blasters was just playing the Haunted Mansion songs, or they had knocked them off way too close.
Yeah.
So I basically heard like, Grim Grinning Ghouls come out to socialize. Like I heard that in their ride, which I don't think Walt would be thrilled with.
Probably not.
But so this person's score, you get graded. You could be a rookie ghost chaser, a junior ghost zapper, an advanced ghost exterminator, which is what the person in the ride became.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, they did not become an expert ghost destroyer or, the top of the heap, the master ghost blaster.
Those are high heights.
They are.
To get to.
They really should have gone right back in and tried again. So let's now move, I think, south.
Okay.
To Santa Monica. Santa Monica Ghost Tours posted a YouTube video of like, come join our tours. And it was very like ghost hosty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, hello, boys and ghouls. Like that kind of thing. But I did like one line they had in their trailer, which was, the coastal ghosts of old Hollywood are used to having an audience. So come join us, that kind of thing, which was fun. This is way more like Hollywood land type stuff, the Santa Monica Boardwalk, including the Georgian Hotel, which is just 2 blocks from the world famous Santa Monica Pier. The Georgian Hotel was built in 1933, and it very quickly became a place where like socialites and rich people, Hollywood muckety mucks, this is where they'd go to get away, especially during Prohibition because it had a speakeasy and you could get the sauce.
Yeah.
So, Clark Gable is said to have taken his taken Carol Lombard there.
Ooh.
Because he was still married to Rhea Langham at the time.
Oh my God.
This is like old Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Carol Lombard? Whoa. Fatty Arbuckle probably had like a Reuben there. I don't know. I think Charlie Chaplin might have done that like silly little walk.
Through the door.
On the through the door.
Yeah.
I was going to say on the dance floor.
Oh, maybe. I mean, that too. Probably.
Everyone spreads out and then Charlie Chaplin goes swing his little
Everybody's
cane.
like, oh!
Whoa! Not to mention Frank Sinatra, the Big FC.
Of course.
And Marilyn Monroe. This whole thing, I guess, was put together by Bugsy Siegel.
Wow.
Who was like an organized crime guy.
What a time.
I know. It's like distinctly old Hollywood stuff. So, according to the Santa Monica Daily Press, quote, some current guests allege the spirits of former tenants still linger, with stories circling of staff getting phone calls from unoccupied rooms and hearing voices in the former speakeasy space, which like is very fun. And so people have said, like, I saw Clark Gable in the elevator.
Yeah, with his little mustache.
Did he have a little mustache?
I think he did.
He probably did.
Yeah.
Quote, one of our overnight officers tells a story about getting a telephone call from a guest room that was not occupied, and he just heard giggling. You get a prank phone call from Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, just teetering over the phone.
He answered, what should I say? Hang it up. It's Charlie Chaplin in the background.
Yeah.
A guest claims to have chucked into their room, put their stuff down, and jumped into the shower. When they came out, the television was on, the bed was open, and the suitcase was empty.
Oh.
The ghost unpacked her bags.
Oh, they just unpacked their stuff and put it in the closet. They didn't steal their stuff.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, maybe they just dumped all their stuff
like somebody
out the
just
window.
like robbed them and bounced while they were in the shower.
Probably a ghost. Yeah, they actually have
whether they turned down the bed or whatever, but still.
They have a huge crime issue.
Yeah.
And they all just go like,
oh, it's haunted.
I think it was the ghost. I think the ghost stole your Amex card.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've got another story from legendsofamerica.com who says, according to legend, that the Georgian Hotel continues to play host to several other unearthly guests, either famous or infamous. Staff and guests have reported several strange phenomena over the years in the hotel's speakeasy restaurant. When the restaurant is entirely empty, employees often hear loud sighs and gasps and have been startled by a disembodied voice who greets them with, good morning. All of this sounds, and maybe this is just the old Hollywood of it all.
Yeah.
I wonder if Cary Grant might have been around because this all made me think of Topper. The hit movie Topper. Everyone out there loves Topper, right?
Yeah, of course.
Topper is about Cary Grant becoming a ghost, and then he just keeps hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't think so, buddy. It's like very charming.
Yeah.
You know? Good morning. You see a floating
It was
cup
probably
of coffee.
Topper.
Yeah. At other times, the sound... Topper was not Cary Grant's character, by the way.
Oh, sorry. I haven't seen Topper.
Sounds like someone needs to see Topper. It's very long.
Yeah.
Like half the movie is watching Topper go over his bank books.
I know. You've told me about Topper, and it doesn't sound good to me.
We might have to cover Topper.
All right.
All right. At other times, the sounds of running footsteps are heard throughout the restaurant when no one's there, and several transparent apparitions have been seen. Classically ghosty in the Georgian Hotel, with a fun coda from spookytraveling.com, who says...
Sounds like a good website.
I know, spookytraveling.com. I think it is. The Georgian hotel ghosts seem to have more residual energy as opposed to intelligent energy. That might be, in fact, why it might have unpacked that person's suitcase, where it's just like the ghosts are just going through the motions of what you do at the Georgian hotel.
Yeah, right. They may have thought that they were unpacking their own suitcase.
Yeah. They are reliving their daily lives and going through the motions without interacting with the living. I think a lot of hauntings are just repetitive energy playing in a constant loop like a tape. What do you think? If the ghosts are haunting the Georgian by choice, maybe they're returning to a place that made them happy. How many people do you know who want to retire to the beach? I thought that was a sweet...
That is sweet, yeah.
A sweet way to conclude, because at the end of the day, the entire implication here is that you go to the Santa Monica Boardwalk to get away in 1933. It's Prohibition. You've got a mistress. You're stepping out on your wife.
You want to kill somebody if you're Fatty Arbuckle.
Of course.
Well, you want to kill her.
Right. Wasn't... Oh, that was a whole...
Yeah.
Was that true?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't remember if that was true.
I thought it was.
Is it too late for Fatty Arbuckle's ghost to sue Kristen for slander?
What do you mean it wasn't true?
I thought that was like... all right. Fatty Arbuckle... Wasn't it... Shit, we might have to look into Fatty Arbuckle real quick, because now we're talking about
it. Well, no, I believe that he had sex with a sex worker.
And crushed her to death.
I don't know if it's true that he crushed her to death, but I think that she died. There was a trial and stuff. That's true.
There was all... Oh, yeah. That's true for sure.
I don't think it's true that he crushed her to death.
Yeah, I think the trial was like... Yeah. He lived the rest of his life like having been raked over the coals. Yeah. Either it was true and he, deserved to suffer, or I've heard people be like, it wasn't true.
I don't know.
And, his life was destroyed. Fatty Arbuckle. Well...
Maybe you look into this for yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to look into this anymore.
Yeah, no need.
I don't want to read about Fatty Arbuckle anymore.
Basically, in my head, I had Fatty Arbuckle, bad guy, killed somebody.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I'm sorry that I brought that up.
I had been content to leave Fatty Arbuckle discussion at he had a Reuben. And then look what you did to dismantle that charming notion. Fatty Arbuckle enjoying a nice sandwich. We'll leave it to the famous Fatty Arbuckle historians out there who perhaps can shed different light on the situation.
Yes.
And with that, the joy has concluded.
From slamming door porta potties to this.
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed the show. As we said before, you can go to patreon.com/GTTUpod if you would like more. You can also go to scaryfun.fun to visit our website. You can follow us on social media at GTTUpod, and you can also follow us individually. I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at The Myth Traveler. So we'll be back next week. We won't be talking about Fatty Arbuckle.
Nah.
Sorry, you fatty heads. I know. You Arbuckle nuts.
Or just you Arbuckles.
You Arbuckles out there.
Yeah.
But it'll be different. But until that time comes, we must travel.
Back to the netherworld. Go we. Back to a world in which we don't think about Fatty Arbuckle.
This has got to be like one of the best ways to end a podcast.
Yeah.
Just kind of being like, oh no.
Just a nice.
All right, goodbye.
Smooth.
I'm out.
Smooth exit. Yeah.